What is your office timings?
9 to 6.
9 to 6.
Okay. Uh, okay. So what we can do? I'm going to take one session now, and then can we connect at 5 to 6 p.m. today? Like another session? Is
Okay.
it fine for you?
Okay.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Sure.
Okay. So first we can connect 1 hour session now, and then next session we can connect evening 5 to 6.
Okay, sure.
Now it is it 12 to 1 or 12 to 1:15?
12 to 1.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So yesterday we are discussing about validation rules, right? And we gave an example as well. A few people complete the requirement, and few people may be like they may be facing some issues. But today, first we go with the requirement. Then after we can like go with a few other requirements as well with these validation rule. Okay. So now we'll go with the yesterday's requirement. Can someone share the formula what you have implemented in our chat? Whatever the validation formula you have implemented, can you share with us? Yeah. Okay. So yesterday we have a requirement. The requirement is basically when we populated a phone value, then we need to verify whether the phone number like having 10 digits or not. In the case of if it is not having 10 digits, then we should throw an error. But if the value is the phone number value is empty, then we should not validate the corresponding requirement. Okay, then we should not validate these corresponding phone number. If they enter some characters, they enter some digits, then only we need to validate the corresponding phone number. Okay, so that's why.
Excuse me, Shrikant. Hello. Your voice is not
Sorry.
clear. Your voice is not clear.
Uh, Still you are facing an issue, or like is it fine for you?
Some background noise is there.
Just give me 1 minute. So is it fine now? Is it fine now, or
Yeah,
still you are facing an audio issue?
it's fine now.
Okay. So what I'm saying, so here we are having a formula. The formula is basically when we have a phone number, so then only we need to validate whether that is having 10 digits or not. In the case of if your phone field is blank, then you should not validate the corresponding phone number field. So for that, we have implemented one of the validation rule. The validation rule is basically first I'm trying to validate whether my phone number is having values or not. Okay, so is blank of phone number. That means if it is empty, then it is going to give the true value. And similar way, not of is blank. That means here whatever the value we have entered, so if it is having a value, then is blank it is going to give the true value. Is blank, it is going to give the true value. For example, in my phone field I have entered value like this 123. So then automatically what happened, right? It is going to like it is going to verify this is blank of phone. Is blank of phone, if I giving these value, then automatically what happened, right? It is going to give the false value. But for these false, what we are applying, not of false. If I'm using not of false, then automatically what happened, right? It is going to give the value as a true. It is going to give the value as a true. If I'm giving value as true, then it is going to check the second condition, length of phone number. So as of now, the length of phone number is basically three digits. So because of that, we are going to throw an error. So 3 not equal to 10. this second condition also true. So first condition is true and then second condition also true as per the AND operator behavior. So both conditions are true, then this validation rule will work. This validation rule will work. So here what we need to do, we just like verifying whether phone number is having values or not. If phone number is having value, then we are validating the corresponding, then we are validating the corresponding length. So in the case of if it is blank, if it is blank, then what happened, it is blank of phone, it is going to give the true value. So not of true, it is going to display as false. In the case of like a false statement available in AND operator, then automatically it won't execute second condition, then by default it won't execute anything. So you are able to save the record. But in the case of, if it is, if you enter any value within this phone field, then it is going to give the value as true, and then it is going to verify the corresponding condition whether the length not equal to 10 or not. So like this we are going to like implement the condition. So it's like a very simple, we just need to like understand what's happening here. So if you're able to understand, then we can easily implement this requirement. Okay, so now we'll go with one more requirement. The requirement is basically, we have implemented a one of the formula field. The formula field is basically discount. Okay, so this discount we are offering, we have implemented one of the formula in our contact field or in our opportunity. Not sure where we have implemented the formula field discount percentage. So I'm trying to go with that formula, discount percentage. So this discount percentage, what we are doing, so simply I am using a account industry. Based on the account industry, I am going to like populate a 5 and then like a 30 like this. So it is like by default, do you want to populate these corresponding value, then we go with the formula field. But you have a requirement, so in the case of like industry equal to banking, you can give maximum of 5% discount. In the case of like industry equal to agriculture, you can give maximum of 30% discount. In the case of like industry equal to communications, you can give maximum of 20% discount. Okay, so the thing here it is they can give any number up to like whatever the value we are having here. So in the case of like agriculture, they can give discount from 1 to 30. So in the case of like communications, they can give discount from like 1 to 20. So in the case of like construction, they can give discount from 1 to 50. So in the case of like energy, so they can give discount from 1 to 25. In the case of like other options, they can give discount up to 1 to 3. Okay, so the thing here it is, if it is in a fixed discount, then we can go with the formula, that is fine. But in the case of like if they are having like a maximum discount level, they are having maximum discount level. So the maximum discount level is basically, in the case of like a account industry equal to agriculture, we can go up to 30. So they can offer like a 5% or like 6%, 10%, 20%, and then like a 25. Max we can offer like a 30%. Max we can offer 30%. So sometimes we are having a requirement. The requirement is basically, if you go for shop, initially they have provided discount of 10%. Okay, so whatever the product price they are having, they simply provide discount of like 10%. But they have in a margin of the product is basically 30%. But they offer 10% discount. Again we start bargaining. So we are like requesting more discount. Then they are going to like give discount up to 20%. Okay, still we are not satisfied. Again we are bargaining. Then they may be like giving discount maximum of like 25%. So if you're like frequently like asking bargain rate, then what they're going to do, they're like simply like trying to increase the your discount. But max how much they can go, so in the case of like agriculture, they can go for 30%. In the case of like communications, they can go for like 20%. So depending upon like your account industry, they can go maximum percentage discount. So if you're like keep on asking, then they said like a maximum discount we are going to offer for agriculture 30%. We cannot go beyond that. We cannot go beyond that. So initially they're like trying to give discount of 10%. Like as per like customer request, they're like increasing the value. So sometimes they reach the maximum discount value 30%. So in the case of like more than 30% customer expecting, so salesperson they cannot enter more than 30% discount. Here they are trying to enter discount value manually. So here they are trying to enter discount value manually. So if you would like to implement such kind of if you would like to implement such kind of formula, then what we are going to do, we need like work with a validation rule. So with the help of like these validation rule, we are going to verify so whether is the corresponding pick list value equal to agriculture, and the corresponding like discount percentage is 30, discount percentage is 30, so less than or equal to 30, then only we need to allow. Otherwise we should throw an error. Otherwise we should throw an error. So similar way, in the case of like banking, we can give maximum 5% discount. If you're like trying to give more than 5%, then we should throw an error. So below 5% it is acceptable, but if you're like trying to give more than 5%, then you should throw an error. Then you should throw an error. So if you have a such kind of requirements, then we need to go with a validation rule. So now I'm like trying to implement a validation rule for this requirement. I'm like trying to like implement validation rule for this requirement. So the validation rule is basically, first I'm like trying to verify whether like a discount field is available or not. So I'm trying to like verify whether is there a discount field is available or not. We have only one field. I'm going to create like a one field, a manual field here. So that is a number. So number, how much percentage of discount we need to like provide here. Simply I'm creating a value as number here, discount, and then the length of the discount percentage is basically we can provide here. So maximum we can enter, we can like give discount of like 20 or like 30, right? So that's why I'm giving two digits, or like max I can go with like three digits. So that's why I'm giving length is 3 here. So then after click on next, and then I'm making it visible for all the profiles. So adding to the layouts, all the layouts, and then finally I'm going to save these corresponding field. So once we are done with this discount field creation, so then after what we can do, we can go with the validation rule. Within the validation rule, I'm going to implement these corresponding functionality. Okay, so now I'm like trying to implement a new validation rule. I'm trying to implement a new validation rule. So within this validation rule, what I'm going to do, discount percentage, discount percentage. So then after what I'm going to do, I'm trying to verify the corresponding requirement. So whatever the formula here we are using, so I'm going to use same formula. Along with that, I'm trying to like add a few other conditions here. I'm trying to add few other conditions here. So simply whatever the value we are having, so simply I'm trying to add here. So along with that, what I'm going to do, I'm trying to like implement another thing here. So another thing here. So in the case of is peak value is peak value of our account industry equal to like a banking, and then so our discount percentage greater than 5. So in the case of they are like trying to give the discount percentage greater than 5, then we need to throw an error. So now simply I am going to choose the corresponding discount, so greater than 5, then we should throw an error. So for that, what I am going to do, I'm like simply giving a value as true. So I'm simply giving value as true. So if it is true, then it will throw an error. So otherwise it will execute false statement. Otherwise it will execute false statement. So in the case of like if this true is like it is going to return by this if condition, then automatically our validation rule will fire. So here what we are trying to do, first of all I am trying to verify account industry equal to banking or not. So in the case of like pick list, we need to use like account dot industry is equal of account dot industry and the corresponding value. In the case of like name fields, right, how we are going to do name equal to so and so, like that you can verify. But in the case of like these pick list option, directly you cannot get the value. That's why I'm using is pick value of account dot industry banking. And then in the case of like industry equal to banking, the discount is greater than 5. If you're like trying to give greater than 5, then we should throw an error. Then we should throw an error. So for that, what we are trying to do, whatever the formula we have implemented, for entire formula, it should return either true or false. Entire formula, it should return either true or false. So if you would like to display an error, then you need to get the true value, and if you don't want to get any error, then you need to get the false value. So if the condition is satisfied, then you will get the true value. If condition is like a fail, then you will get the false value here. So now the thing here it is I'm simply specifying the corresponding condition. So account industry equal to banking. So then after I'm trying to verify the corresponding discount percentage. So if these both conditions satisfied, then I am going to return a true value here. So if these are not satisfied, I'm like trying to verify other thing here. So I'm trying to verify other thing here. So those are like account dot industry equal to agriculture, and I'm going to give the corresponding discount greater than 50, discount greater than like 30. Then after I'm going to like simply close this one, and then I'm going to like give the value as true here. If I'm giving value as true, that means it is validating a second condition. If second condition is also not satisfied, then we are going to like throw an error here. So now in the case of like third one, so I'm simply giving the AND operator here. Discount greater than 20. So then after I'm going to give the true value here. Okay, so like this, what are the like things we are having, we need to like add all the conditions. Okay, and in the case of like is big 12 account dot like industry equal to construction, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a AND operator here. I'm simply giving like a discount greater than 15. Then after true value, and is big value of last one. So I'm going to specify and is big value of rating discount underscore c greater than 25. Then I'm going to throw an error here. Okay, so otherwise I'm going to throw like a false here. That means it won't throw any error. Okay, so then after I will simply click on check syntax. So if everything is good, then we are going to save this record. Somewhere we miss something.
Discount spelling.
Where it is.
Last line.
Oh, okay.
ఇదిగో కవర్ నీడ ఉందిగా ఈ సంచిలో ఏం తెచ్చారు ఇది
So here what we're like trying to do. So here we are trying to use like keys pick value, but just to give me a moment, it is throwing an error. So rather than using this one for the validation, it is not working. So rather than using this one, what we can do, we can go with the another feature called text. So text also we can use it. It's not supported for this one. That's why I am using a text value here. Whatever the like pick value. So just I'm like trying to reframe it. Once I'm done, then I will explain you. That's not an issue. Just to give me one moment. Somewhere I did some mistake. One moment. Yeah, I have used and operator in between like is pick value. Because of that, I'm getting an issue. So somewhere I have added and operator. So rather than writing an outside, I have written here. Because of that, I'm getting an exception. So I need to use and operator here. Because of that, I'm getting an exception. So similar way, and and so everything is fine now. I'm like simply verifying the syntax. So now it is good. So we can use text as well, but what I did some small mistake here. It is rather than adding these and operator, so I'm adding in is pick value. So in between I have added is pick value. Because of that, I got an exception. So now what we did, and of is pick value of account dot industry banking. So if it is banking and the discount is greater than 5, then so if these two conditions satisfied, then it is going to give the true value. So if it is giving the true value, then automatically what happen, it will throw an error. It will throw an error. But the thing here, it is in the case of if the condition is not satisfied, then automatically what happen, it move to the this false statement. In the case of like false statement, if account dot industry equal to agriculture and discount greater than 30%. For agriculture account industry, if you're like trying to give more than 30% discount, then we are going to throw an error. And similar way we are implementing for remaining stages as well. for implementing remaining industries as well, like communications and then construction, energy. For all these industries, we have implemented the corresponding limit here. We have implemented the corresponding limit here. But here we have one challenge is there. We have one challenge is there. So now I'm like trying to give the, I'm trying to enter some discount value in my discount field. So as per this validation rule, it is going to throw an error. As per like this validation rule, it is going to throw an error. But my requirement here, it is basically I need to display proper message to the customer. Okay, I need to display proper message to the customer. So if you implemented like this, is there any disadvantage of displaying an error message? Already some people aware, right? So anyone having any idea, if you have implemented like this, is there any disadvantage of implementing a validation rule like this?
No, I think.
Mhm.
No.
So anyone having any guess at least?
Based on two fields, we are
So
showing two errors.
what we are trying to do here it is, we are going to display one error message. The error
Yeah.
message is basically, so your discount percentage you should not give like a 30%. Okay, but my requirement here it is, in the case of like industry equal to banking, so then we need to give maximum discount 5%. In the case of like industry equal to like agriculture, then we need to give maximum of like 30%. In the case of like industry equal to communications, then we can give maximum discount of 20%. So industry equal to construction, then we are going to give the maximum discount of 15%. Okay, but the thing here it is, if I would like to display an error message, I'm going to write only one error message. I cannot write like a conditional wise error message. Okay, so
Yeah.
generally what type of error message customer expecting? So if I'm like trying to enter discount percentage, okay, so if you're displaying all these conditions, right? So if it is in a banking, discount percentage is so and so, and then agriculture so and so, if you display entire error message, then it's like a customer may not able to understand it. Okay, customer may not able to understand it, so that they may be like keep on trying to enter the values. So if you displaying like large error message, then automatically what happened, right? Customer may not able to understand, so they may not able to they may not able to enter proper values. So in this scenario what happened, I'm going to like simply specify. So industry equal to, if industry is banking, then max we can offer, so 5%. So then after industry equal to, industry is like agriculture, agriculture, then max we can offer, max we can offer 30%. So if you display error message like this, then they need to go through entire line. For example, they have like a energy validation, they have like a, they are able to like try, they are trying to enter a value of energy. So at that time they need to go through entire error message. So if you're able to display such type of like a long error message, the customer may not able to like go through all the error message, the entire error message. The customer may be like a feel it's like a hectic process, so they may leave our our application. So to avoid such situations, we need to display different error messages. We need to display different error message. In the case of like banking, I need to display the maximum discount is 5%. In the case of like agriculture, I need to display the maximum discount is basically 200%, sorry, 30%. In the case of like communication, we need to give 20%. Okay, so like that I need to display generic error messages. Okay, rather than displaying like a combined error message, I need to display generic error message here. So in this situation, what we need to do? So anyone having any idea if you would like to display generic error message?
Apex code.
So with this validation only, I need to implement it.
Okay.
Or we need to create different validation rules.
Exactly. So here, sometimes we have a requirements like this. If we have a requirements like this, then what we need to write? We need to split our validation into multiple parts. So as per the functional perspective, it is fine. So it will work, and then you will get proper error message, proper like a validation error message only. But the thing here it is, if you have such kind of long conditions, long functionalities, so at this moment, if you're able to implement a generic error message, that won't work properly. So the customer may not able to understand what's happening here. So if you're able to give the error message is basically for industry bank, for industry of banking, we can give maximum of 5% discount. If you display only simple sentence, the customer able to understand. So they're able to go through the corresponding account industry, and they're able to identify the industry type is like a banking. So because of that, they need to give maximum like 5% only. If you're displaying like a banking 5%, and then like agriculture 30%, communication 20%, and then retail 25%. So if you're giving a chart like that, then they need like go through all your like values. So that may consume customer time. So rather than doing like this, what we are going to do, for each and every error message, we need to implement one of the validation rule. So okay, for the industry